It's exciting to watch.
And what it all means to you.
You can't help but just say, wow.
Drama, passion, suspense, tropospheric undulations. Every night on Weather Center PM.
In the next half hour, Weather Center PM, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, Weather Center PM continues with highway and air travel conditions. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, Storm Watch. But right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel. On Weather Center, rain moves into the northeast. We'll explain why April's weather was severe at times, and we'll preview our weekend coverage of Severe Season 98. All that straight ahead on Weather Center.
As the old saying goes, April showers bring May flowers, but the showers have extended into this first day of May. Doesn't seem quite fair. Good evening and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Sharon Resulton.
And I'm Paul Emick. We'll also explain why the month of April was so active in parts of the country, and we'll even preview our weekend. That's the big coverage of Severe Season 98 we'll have here. Jim Cantori will have a live report from Oklahoma just a little bit later, but we begin with a rainy Friday in Philly. You had to really love the rain to enjoy a walk in Philadelphia today. Kids in town for a history lesson got a weather class 2 because the downpour gives some folks a reason to get close. The reason is to keep from getting soaked. Pretty good reason there. Plenty of ways to stay dry in the pouring rain. For example, the nation's capital trying everything you can today. Some were just choosing to get wet. You can notice some bare feet in spots. A couple people walking around there holding a wool sweater over your head. Maybe not the best idea, but it may keep your hair dry for at least a little while. Right now we're looking at a live image from the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. The current temperature is 60 degrees. Still some rain falling throughout the city. Rain's going to move out a bit later tonight, and might even have a little partly cloudy afternoon Saturday for the Big Apple. Wouldn't rule out a chance of some sprinkles hanging on, even for Boston. Of course, we'll get to that in the forecast coming up in just a few moments. There's a problem. There's the culprit right there. Actually, several areas of low pressure, kind of in a continuous parade, it seems like, throughout the Northeast, keeping a lot of wet weather around. Let's look up close and personal now at where the storms are popping up. Still, wet weather abounds. We're not out of the woods yet. We still have the showers to think about. For example, around Boston, around Hartford, even toward Philly, maybe out toward Atlantic City. It's still staying just a little bit wet. Tonight you can see things in motion. Where you see some of that yellow there, for example, indicates some spots where we're bringing some pretty significant rains on toward the city. You can see that motion moving us in here. So even around Muncie, yeah, we're getting pretty wet tonight. Even around New Rochelle, it's still rather wet. Even toward Hartford, around New Haven, New Canaan, too, it's rather wet. Pittsburgh, not much happening now, just because the spin of things is not spinning things our direction right now. Just off to the north and to the east of Pittsburgh wet. Still into parts of Ohio, though, it's rather wet, including around Columbus. So we do have more than our fair share of the rain to be popping up for the night. 63 for Boston, 60 toward the city, even at Philly, 59 degrees. Temperatures are not bad. 60 toward D.C., hey, no major complaints. It's not too bad of a situation to be in for tonight, out walking around or maybe out taking a jog around the mall. Things don't look incredibly bad around the D.C. right now, or even around Georgetown for a night on the town. Across the southeast, well, things are just a little bit different. There's another front. And to kick off storms, you have to have lift, you have to have moisture, you have to have instability. What do those three things do? Well, they conspire to give you a pretty stormy situation. If you look right here, you can see where there's some wet weather around Miami and Coral Gables and around Boca. Yeah, it's staying rather wet for the night, even toward the Keys around Duval Street, for example. There's still some wet weather popping up around the town tonight toward Key Largo. It's going to stay pretty showery for a little bit longer. West Palm Beach looking rather wet, and looks like the biggest of the storms right there where you see some of the yellows and reds on toward Grand Bahama Island out on West End, looking a little bit damp presently. So things are still popping around many parts of the country. We've got the wet weather to think about here. Also in portions of the upper Midwest, we've got some additional wet weather going as well. Let's go ahead and take a look now at what's happening across the western U.S. With that, here's Sharon.
Thanks a lot, Paul. In the west, an upper-level trough lurks off the coast, and that could mean showers throughout the weekend for that region. Let's go ahead and check on the current conditions, and we'll show you what it looks like as we head out to the west. And there's our surface map, and from that you'll be able to see lots of cloudiness, obviously, and a few showers being generated by that front as it works its way into central and northern California. Now, scenes look like this in and around San Francisco, and this scene is certainly nothing new for folks in San Francisco. Light rain fell throughout the day, prompting many people to take cover under umbrellas, but off and on showers didn't really stop folks from getting out in the town and doing what they needed to do around downtown San Francisco for the day. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the current map. And again, you can see as we head out to the west that there is plenty of moisture, some of that moving on in, but a lot of the moisture is actually still well out into the Pacific. There's the radar, and you can see the moisture stretching on up well to the north now of Columbia and to the east of Sacramento, but a good band of moisture that goes up through Chico and all the way up through Mount Shasta, with just occasional showers brushing the San Francisco Bay region. Not as much to speak of there. We can go a little further northward, and you can actually see how some of the moisture is reaching up into southwestern portions of Oregon. There are a few embedded thunderstorms across this area as well, and that in turn may mean a few rumbles of thunder for you in and around Portland or around the Brookings area. You have to kind of keep an eye out for that. Some of that may be oncoming. There's another inspection you can see in and around Mount Shasta. Scattered showers here. Again, that stretches all the way up toward the Cascades of Oregon. Again, there's one of those heavier showers, a little bit of embedded thunder, right up along Interstate 5. So some tougher travel there as we go along Interstate 5. So once again, rather unsettled here. Our front lagging here across the high plains, also producing a few scattered showers and a few thunderstorms at this time. That's a peek at the weather out to the west. Now back to Paul.
Well, thanks a lot, Sharon.